Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues from different parts of the world you're joining us from. My name is James Origa, a native of Kenya. I'm currently serving as a water supplier and sanitation specialist with the World Bank Group. I'm delighted and privileged to join the Rural Water Supply Executive Committee to serve as chair of the network on behalf of the World Bank Group from this month onwards. For those who are hearing about the Rural Water Supply Network for the first time, the RWSN is a global network of professionals and organizations dedicated to rural water supply services. The vision of the network is a world in which all people enjoy the use of sustainably, safely managed water services. The network seeks to achieve this vision by providing a neutral convening space for both individual professionals as well as organizations from different parts of the world to collaborate, develop and share best practices, standards, guidelines, as well as to curate knowledge and promote lifelong learning in the rural water supply sector. My motivation to be part of the Rural Water Supply Network and to serve as chair of the executive committee stems from growing up in a typical rural African village in a town called Kisumu in Kenya. I understand very well the strain and the pain of walking several kilometers to access water. I've had the privilege of not only living and working among some of the most rural communities as a last mile service provider, but also on the other end of the spectrum, working at the highest level of government policy making to influence policy and driving sector-wide reforms and investments at scale. This diversity of experience has given me an intimate understanding and perception of actors and also the challenges at both ends of the spectrum. And such a perception is quite critical and necessary to work with and lead teams in developing and supplying timely and actionable policy evidence and policy solutions, as well as designing the delivery of a package of services to communities we seek to serve. The Rural Water Supply Network is a critical part of the global institutional architecture, working towards achieving the SDG Goal 6 of ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all by the year 2030. The World Bank was instrumental in the early years of formation of the Rural Water Supply Network back in the early 1990s, interestingly beginning in Kenya in a town called Kakamega, where the first idea was formulated. This includes the bank serving in the past as chair of the network through the late Piers Cross, for colleagues who might remember him. So coming back into 2024, it's a privilege for us to come back as the chair again. The challenges facing the rural water sector are immense. As most of you are already aware, gaps in access to water supply still remain or are even growing in many parts of the world. The time to do more was yesterday and today. The universal access agenda has never been more urgent than it is right now, considering the impacts of the lack of access to water on human capital development, among many other impacts. Our collective action as the Rural Water Supply Network at a global and local scale is much needed to fast-track water security through system strengthening, systemic change, and scaling up more sustainable multi-use water management and services. I am convinced more than ever that the best way to do this is by putting our efforts at building broader coalitions that work for and reinforces a culture of collaboration and partnerships. I want to emphasize the Rural Water Supply Network's unique ability to unite and amplify our individual efforts at a global scale. That is how we create a sustainable transformation at scale. Our diversity of experiences is the key to the success of the network in terms of overcoming the organizational fragmentation that has long hindered global progress towards achieving universal access to water. It is my personal plea to call each one of us to action, whether individual professionals and organizations, be they NGOs, development finance institutions, charities, private firms, to join this worthy cause. If you haven't already become a member, Now is the time to join the network. For those of you already a part of the network, there's still much we can accomplish together. And I'm looking forward to working together with you all. Thank you.